Hello, it's Ben McClymont from NFL Talk UK, and I'm powered by Oddschecker. We have a very special friend. He's normally on the TV, wired over from Canada, but he's live in the flesh. It's Jeff Reinebold. Hello, Jeff. So we're going to start with a few questions for you, Jeff, sort of personal questions about NFL and the UK. So you've been on our TVs and Sky for a long time now. You come over this time of year after Canada winds up. So when did you first start getting Sky Sports? What kind of era was that?
You know what? It actually started by mistake, Benny. I was working for the NFL office in London, and Sky was a place where Fox would send over young guys that they wanted to become broadcasters. Troy Aikman started over here. Baldinger started over here. All of that era of guys started over here. And Darren Woodson was supposed to come over and do a show. Something happened. He couldn't get in at the last minute, and it's tough sometimes with the paperwork trying to get somebody in here. So Alistair Kirkwood said to me, he said, "Hey, you've dabbled with TV in the past, haven't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Would you be our analyst for the weekend?" And just so happened that I think the president of Sky at that time was channel surfing and saw the broadcast. And then in the production or the office meeting that week, he goes, "Okay, that blonde guy that was on American football," and the producer at the time thinks, "Uh-oh." So he goes, hey, he was just in one time. It was just a replacement. He'll never be on again. The guy goes, no, bring him back. I thought he was kind of funny. So that's how it started. Yeah.
That's crazy to think. So that's maybe 10 years ago or so now. That's when you started. That little break, and then you're a regular on TV now. People on Twitter are always asking for you when you're coming over, when you're back. That's crazy. It started out like that.
It's been really a fun ride, and it's been great for my family. And my wife Leslie gets to come over when I come over, and the thing that's been the most fun for me is to watch how the game has grown here, and not only the fandom that's grown here, but the amount of knowledge that the UK fans have about the NFL. And it doesn't matter whether it's Josh Norman or Emmanuel Sanders or Kyle Rudolph or any of the players we've brought over here. One of the things that they all talk about is how shocked they are at how knowledgeable the fans are in the UK.
Yeah, I think it's really become part of our society now. Like 6 o'clock Sunday, no one's really doing anything. You just slot into a bit of football, Jeff's on the telly, and it goes from there. So I think it has changed a lot. And the NFL games at Wembley seem to be a big thing as well, and you love going to those. Do you think that's been a massive part of growing the game?
I tell you what, Ben, those, I've been to, I don't know, probably closing up into now 20 Super Bowls, but the Wembley games are the thing that are the closest to an actual Super Bowl game, because it's the only game that I've been to where you can have all 32 of the teams represented. Fans are wearing their team's jersey, regardless if their team's there or not, and they come for the week, and it's just this huge celebration of American football. And I really think that next to the Super Bowl, the Wembley games are as close to a Super Bowl environment as you're going to get.
Yeah. Do you think we could ever have a Super Bowl in London?
I don't think there's anything that's outside the realm of possibility when you consider that. And I think that every once in a while you got to go back and remind yourself of who made this actually happen. Alistair Kirkwood, who's the president of NFL Europe or NFL London now, proposed this idea at a time when they were closing down NFL Europe. And frankly, you could hear the laughter from the New York offices all the way in London. They said there's no way, the Monarchs had come and gone, the Claymores had come and gone, and there were, the pessimists in New York said there's no way the fans will support a game in the UK. And Alistair actually bet his life, his professional life, on the fact that the fans would embrace that game. And, they had the 80,000 the first year, and every time, because the NFL is a business and a really well-run business, they set up hurdles to prove, so that you can prove to them that you can support the game. And first it was 2 games, then it was 3 games in 3 weeks, and, in every case, the UK fans have responded, and that's why I think within 24 months now, we'll have an NFL franchise in London.
Oh, that's going to be my next question. So you think that is going to be a thing?
I don't think it's any question about it now. I think that the fact of the matter is, when you look at you can sell out a game 85,400 in hours after you post the tickets for sale. And again, one of the things that they did was they said, okay, let's put 3 games there in a row and see if it doesn't dwindle out over, if it's kind of a one-off, like the circus comes to town kind of deal. And the fans were, you set an attendance record in the last game. So it's an eventuality. It's a business. That's the thing people have to understand. And when you are a struggling franchise in the United States, and there are a number of them, that don't fill their stadiums, then you look at what's possible here, and to realize that you would have a captive market in one of the world's greatest big cities, it's just a no-brainer. And I think it won't be an expansion team. It'll be a team that's playing right now and looks at this as a real possibility to, not only make a mark, but really corner the market in a huge, I remember this from when we used to sit in those marketing meetings in New York, and 3 countries beyond all others spend money on their sports teams: the United States, Japan, and the UK. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why they kept an office here. So these fans are so passionate. And they're not just passionate about their soccer teams, they're passionate about sport. And whether it's Formula One or the horses or whatever, English fans are as passionate as any fans in the world, and they will support a team here. I truly believe that.
And going back to the fact that it is a business, how did you get into the business?
I was just a kid that loved to play. And all of a sudden, I was told by a coach, "What are you going to do after this is over?" And I was like, "What? Over? I mean, it's like we're going to go on and this will go on forever." But like most young kids, because you don't think about what's going on in your future. And he pulled me aside and he said, "I think you should be in coaching." And my dad was in baseball, professional baseball, for almost 30 years. And so I called him that night, and it was like dead silence on the phone. And I'm thinking, Dad, are you there? And he went through this, well, there's no money in it. You're going to always traveling. It's hard on family. All the reasons not to get into the business. But I think what he was really doing was just making sure that you were passionate about it and you really want to do it. Because football, professional football, is not something that you can be halfway in and halfway out. You got to be all the way in. And it's provided me with some incredible experiences. It's been wonderful for our family. So I'm really, really happy that I was able to fool people for this long.
It's been a long time now. Have you got any storied moments, any moments you really treasure, any players that you really treasure coaching?
Gosh, man, there's so many players that stick out to me as being guys that were so special. And I think there's a lot of joy that you get in coaching when you see the guys that you've coached go on and have tremendous careers. Vance Joseph, who is the head coach of the Broncos, played for me in NFL Europe. Nick Ferguson's coaching in the NFL and with the 49ers, and he played for me in NFL Europe. I enjoy when the players that you coached get into coaching and move into the game. But then again, you think about the moments of watching. One of my favorite moments was standing in the stadium in San Francisco, the 49ers stadium in San Francisco, and watching Emmanuel Sanders stand on the sideline and the confetti falling on him after he became a Super Bowl champion. I've been fortunate to have, about 5 or 6 now ex-players go on and become Super Bowl champions. And when you realize that that's the absolute pinnacle, no matter what you do in football, that is the pinnacle. To have the opportunity to say you were a Super Bowl champion, so few guys can ever get to that point. And to now have 5 or 6 of them that have stood underneath that confetti is really, really an awesome thing. I'm so happy for those guys, because you realize there's some, Dan Marino's a Hall of Fame player, maybe one of the greatest that ever played his position, never experienced a Super Bowl as a winner. And that's, so again, for Emmanuel and all the guys that have done that, I think it's really cool.
Do you find that players come back to you when they enter coaching? Do they have asking for advice, or
it's been really
going to other people for that advice?
It's really fun when they do come back to you and they say a number of things. Like they I see now what you were trying to get us to understand, or I really appreciate the opportunity to have had you were hard on me, but I knew you were hard on me because you cared about me. And I think those things are the things that keep you in this business, because it's not the money and it's not the, like I said, there's a lot of things that are tough about this business. And but the one thing that you get is a deep, deep, deep love for not only the game, but for the guys that play and coach the game.
Yeah, you touched on something I was going to ask you there. Like, I'm sitting with you now. I've sat with you quite a few times. You're calm. We have a nice little chat and stuff. As a coach, do you have a calm persona, or are you giving the players a bit of stick?
You know what? It just kind of comes and goes. I got to be me. It's Rob Ryan and I were talking yesterday about this very thing. Rob and I are very good friends, and you know, you have to be who you are. You can't, and I think it's really been proven that, you know, like for example, you look at all of Belichick's assistants that have gone out, and almost to a man, they have really struggled. And I think in a lot of cases, it's because they tried to be Bill Belichick. Well, they can't, you know, you can't, Eric Mangini's got to be Eric Mangini, and you can't be somebody that you're not. And so I think that's a great lesson for people in everything. You just got to be who you are and be true to yourself. Here's the other thing too, Benny, that players today are so smart and so sophisticated that they can smell a phony a mile away. And what I've learned in coaching is that the thing that players want more than anything else is they want you to help them be better. And sometimes you have to help them in a way that you know, they're a little resistant to. But when they figure it out that the reason you're hard on them, the reason you push them, the reason you drive them is because you want to see them get better, then they'll embrace it.
Aloha, my name is Jeff Reinebold. I work for the BC Lions in the Canadian Football League as a special teams coordinator. I'm a Sky Sports NFL analyst, but maybe my most important job is working for Oddschecker.